Good morning, all of you. So, in today's class, we are going to learn about geostationary satellite. Geostationary satellite. What is this geostationary satellite? The satellite whose period of revolution is equal to period of rotation of Earth. Right? Yes, no. So, geostationary satellite is nothing but the period of revolution of an artificial satellite. It is equal to period of rotation of Earth. And what are the conditions for this geostationary satellite? First one, height of the orbit above the Earth's surface is about 35,800 kilometer. This is about height. Okay. Next, the orbit must lie in the equatorial plane of the Earth. So you can see here, this is Earth, and whatever I have drawn this is nothing but equatorial plane of the orbit, or Earth we can say. Next, sense of revolution must be same as that of Earth. We know Earth revolves from west to east. Similarly, the satellite also should revolve how from west to east. Next one, the time period of this satellite which orbiting or revolving around the Earth should be equal to time period of Earth, and that is nothing but equal to how much? 24 hours. Clear? So 4 points we have learned till this moment of time. That is, first one is height of the orbit should be around 36,000, I can say. Next, orbit must be in the equatorial plane of the Earth. Next, sense of revolution must be from west to east, and time period should be same. Okay, so pause the video and note down this. Okay, next. Now, another properties we can say, orbital angular velocity should be same. Means with what angular velocity Earth is rotating, with the same angular velocity that satellite also should rotate. Next, speed of revolution, how much? 3.1 kilometer per second. Relative angular velocity should be zero. Relative angular velocity should be zero. We know relative velocity. So, as here, satellite and Earth both are revolving in the same direction, means their angular velocity is in the same direction. So, relatively, when we are taking, then it is equal to zero if it is equal. Yes, no. That's why relative angular velocity should be zero. Next, orbit of geostationary satellite is called parking of orbit, and orbit radius is nearly 42,250 kilometer, nearly equal to 7 times Earth radius. Okay, so what are the uses of this geostationary satellite? First one, to study upper layers of the atmosphere. Yes, in the above atmosphere, gases concentration or whatever temperature changes, everything we can study by using this geostationary satellite. Forecast the changes in atmosphere, means changes in the atmosphere we can detect by using this. Next, know the shape and size of the Earth. Yes, how is the shape, size, and all these things. Next, identify minerals and natural resources inside as well as on the surface of the Earth. Next, transmit TV programs, and next one is telecommunication. You know these all uses. It's just common uses. You know very well. Just pause the video and note down the notes. Okay, so let's move ahead. Next one is polar satellite. First one we have learned geostationary satellite. Next one is polar satellite. A satellite whose orbital plane is perpendicular to equatorial plane. So you can see here, I have shown you in the diagram. This is what equatorial plane, this is what orbital plane, and this is what satellite which is moving in this orbit like this. This is what polar satellite is. Can you see? Yes. And this time period is around 100 minutes. It crosses any altitude many times a day. That's why it is very easy to view polar and equatorial regions at close distances with good resolution. So close distances with good resolution, we can see whatever it is on the equator as well as poles, and that's why it is very useful. Here, satellite view we are watching now in the map also, Google Maps, right? So this is all these things only, right? So this is orbital plane and equatorial plane. You can see these two are perpendicular to one another. Right? See, equatorial plane and this is what orbital plane. So this is definitely perpendicular to this equatorial plane. Understood? So pause the video and note down. Okay, let's move ahead. Now weightlessness. Okay, weightlessness. So already we have learned in Newton's laws of motion, if lift is freely moving or under free fall, means whose acceleration is equal to acceleration due to gravity, then the person who is inside that lift, he will feel that he is having no weight, right? So no object feels weightlessness whenever normal reaction on it be zero, that is net acceleration of object is equal to acceleration due to gravity in magnitude and direction at that point. Means free fall. Yes, simply the net acceleration is equal to acceleration due to gravity. So you can see here, this is normal reaction, this is mg, and acceleration is in downward direction. So this mg minus n is equal to ma. This you know already. From the free body diagram, we can make this equation. So if I am transferring this side, then n is equal to mg minus a. And if a is equal to g, then you are getting n is equal to 0. If n is equal to 0, apparent weight is equal to 0 and body will feel weightless. Yes, you can note down. Right, let's move ahead. Now this first was inside the lift. Now second case, person inside satellite experiences weightlessness. You can add one more yes here. Okay, if satellite revolves with velocity v naught is equal to root gm by r. So centripetal acceleration, you know, ac is equal to v square by r, and that is equal to gm by r square, which is equal to g. Means centripetal acceleration is equal to g here. Then mg is equal mg minus n is equal to mac. From this you can see centripetal acceleration here, mg downward, normal direction upward. So if from this free body diagram I will make the equation, what I am getting, n is equal to mg minus mac, and therefore m is into g minus ac. So if ac is equal to g from this equation number 1, which I have substituted here, this one, then n is equal to 0, and then apparent weight will be 0 if a person is inside the satellite and revolving with velocity v naught. Okay, right. Next one, weightlessness at the equator. Where we will feel weightlessness at the equator. So g phi is equal to g minus r omega naught square cos square phi. This already we know. If phi is equal to 0, then cos square phi is equal to 1, and therefore g phi is equal to g minus r omega naught square. Now centripetal acceleration is equal to r omega naught square, and if a is equal to g, then g at equator is what? G minus a, which is equal to 0. So here also object appears weightlessness. And when this is possible for an angular velocity omega such that g is equal to r omega square, because here ac is equal to r omega square and ac is equal to g here, therefore g is equal to r omega square, so omega is equal to root g by r. If the present value of angular velocity is omega, then g by a means r omega square by r omega naught square. This value we can see. So if we will substitute this omega naught square and all these things value, you are getting 289 ratio of this omega square by omega naught square, and therefore omega square is equal to 289 times omega naught square. If we will take square root on both sides, omega is equal to 17 times omega naught. Understood? For this value of omega, the body will feel weightlessness at the equator. Keep it in mind. Understand? So pause the video and note down this. Okay. So let's move ahead. Now, note point. If r omega square is equal to g, object appears weightless. If it is greater than g, object flies off from surface of planet, obviously. And if it is r omega square is less than g, object will remain stuck with the surface of planet. Clear? So ये stuck रहता है. Yes, it will be struck with the surface. This will be flies off and this will be weightless. Understood? So note down this all. And let's stop here for today. Bye.